half a season for this fourth time is the right answer, JJ. It is. Again, I know you've been rocking with black folks for a minute, pimp. But sometimes this is when that shit happens, when we invite people to the cookout. On this one, you got to get your to-go plate. You got to go home. Now it's the second time. So now JJ Reddick is chiming in. Everybody has talked about it, but let's hear what the support looks like.
We talked about this yesterday. One of the things that I mentioned was we weren't privy to the conversations when he was first suspended. We didn't know if they had discussed.
Because it's ESPN, I want to avoid a copyright strike. So let me do this. Let me enlarge this camera real quick. Do the old school trick. Broken Traditions knows about this, but yeah, just listen up.
You know, another infraction, what the penalty would be. And it seems pretty clear from that conversation between Adam and Malika that actually wasn't discussed. It wasn't discussed if there was another incident. And I'll say this again, you know, in both these gun waving incidents on IG Live, there has been no law that's been broken, as far as we know. Colorado police investigated, no law was broken. Assuming this is in Tennessee, open carry allowed in that state, assuming he has a permit, for whatever it may be, no law has been broken.
I'm going to pause it right there. So for JJ Reddick, if he sees this, it doesn't matter if it was discussed. Again, this is why I said it's deeper than John Morant, and I'm specifically talking to my community tonight with these young men and waving pistols around. It doesn't matter if it was discussed or not with the league of, hey, don't do that shit no more. As far as his circle, the fathers, the uncles, those type of figures around him, that shit should have already been understood. I'm going to let it keep on running.
The reason I bring that up, it is very clear in our CBA what happens if you fail a drug test for performance-enhancing drugs or a street drug, a narcotic. It's very clear. It's this amount of games. It's very clear if you get a certain amount of technicals or a certain amount of flagrants, how much you're going to be suspended. And so that's where I think a 40-game suspension, the precedence for that, for not breaking a law. Again, we can go into the backstory of the incident with the teenager, Jaws claiming self-defense, that the teenager threw the ball in his face. We can go into the incident at the mall when he yelled at his security guard. We can go into the incident with the Indiana Pacers traveling party. As far as we know, all of these things have been investigated and no law has been broken. I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying there should be no punishment. There should be consequences. You are the face of the league. You are representing the NBA. You are a role model to young kids. All of that. I don't think half a season is the right answer. And the last point I want to make, because you bring this up,
I'm going to pause it right there. Half a season for this fourth time is the right answer, JJ. It is. Again, I know you've been rocking with black folks for a minute, pimp. But sometimes this is when that shit happens, when we invite people to the cookout. On this one, you got to get your to-go plate. You got to go home. We'll invite you to the next one. But you're wrong, because it's deeper with young black men. When young black men, and you can say, yo, stop playing the race card and all that shit. I'm telling you what I know and what I see. When you have a incident, two incidents that could have potentially turned violent, where you got in a fight with a kid, where you pulled up at the mall with multiple guys to check a security guard, and one of your phrases to him is, what time you get off? In our community, that means, hold my goddamn beer. For white people, hold my beer. In our community, that means, I'm going to the trunk. I'm going to be right back. That's what that was for that security guard. So shit could have went left. Even if it wasn't Ja. It could have been somebody that he was riding with, right? That want to prove their loyalty because bruh got bread. Sounds crazy, JJ. I know. But trust me, I know. I've seen it happen too many damn times. I know I got people over in the chat, people watching right now, people that are going to see this from our community that knows that shit can go left at any moment when you playing with fire like that. And then you get your hand slapped. oh man, ain't shit gonna happen, bro. Man, it ain't even that serious until somebody in the fucking ground, until a pistol go off. That's why it's deeper than John Morant. And keep letting it run. A couple more seconds.
The guns on social media. We talk about consequences. Look, in our country right now, gun culture is pervasive. It's pervasive. We've got mass shooting after mass shooting, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. So I get why we're so sensitive to this right now. But there's no consequence for Greg Abbott telling his constituents that they should go buy more guns, and then we have mass shooting after mass shooting in Texas. There's no consequence for an elected Tennessee official to send out a Christmas card holding AR-15s with his young family, and then there's a shooting in his very district. There's no consequences to that. So why are we trying to lay down the hammer on a 23-year-old who didn't break a law? Explain that to me.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway because J.J. Reddick doesn't understand the severity. That's why. That's why we're trying to put down the hammer. Now, he's looking from a political aspect or from the league. I give a fuck about those two entities. I care about Ja. I care about the young men that he's around. Unfortunately, they own some bullshit right now. And again, because it's black boy joy. They own IG and they smiling and turning up to the music. We're just having a good time. Until, and I'm knock on wood, I'm not wishing any of that on any of them. Because guess what? By my own people, I have been called a hater many times for giving this same fucking warning to somebody who I had to watch get put in the casket. Mama's only son, only child. I've seen what this shit does to the community, and unfortunately, like Millennial Mark just said, I don't see it getting any better. Because it's so ingrained in the culture now that it's almost okay. That if we don't act like this, you ain't black, Joe Biden. If you don't do this type of behavior, then you ain't black. If you don't do this action at the right time around certain types of black people, then you ain't black. You not real. And we bury person after person after person after person. That's why I 100% agree with Millennial Mark on that. If you have the finality of death, if that's not enough to scare you, if a long prison sentence or a life prison sentence isn't enough to scare you or to check or curb your behavior, I don't know what else will. It's literally going to take an act of God. So we can sit up here and JJ can talk about, oh, these politicians waving guns, because they want to run on that ticket for an AR-15 and all that shit. Negates the fucking point. Negates the fucking point. It has nothing to do with it. It is deeper than the gun itself. It is the behavior that's coming with it. And because he has gotten his hand slapped 1 time, fighting a kid, 2 times, incident at the mall, 3 times, first pistol charge. Or pistol incident. I ain't gonna say charge, he ain't shoot nothing. He did not commit a crime. But that's what it leads up to. Well, ain't nothing happened. Then that turns into ain't nothing going to happen. Until it does. Nobody ever likes to talk about the until, no matter how many examples we have leading up to this. Again, I done seen this movie before. I know you have too.